You are going to work for approximately 90,000 hours in your lifetime. 90,000 hours. That's 10 full years. No sleep, no weekends, no holidays, just working. And at the end of those 90,000 hours, the average American retires with less than $200,000 saved. Do that math with me. $2.22 per hour. That's not a career, that's a trap. And before you say, Jake, that's not fair, that's oversimplified, you're right, it is oversimplified. But the feeling isn't wrong, is it? The feeling that no matter how hard you work, you're not actually getting ahead, you're just getting tired. That feeling has a name. And today, we're going to dismantle it completely. Here's a story most of us are living. You did what they told you. You studied hard, maybe you went to college. You got the job, the good job, the one your parents were proud of. And for a minute, it felt like progress. But then the paycheck hit. And after rent, and the car payment, and the student loan, and the groceries, and the subscription you forgot to cancel 3 years ago, there's just not much left. So you work harder. You ask for the raise. Maybe you get it. But somehow your expenses just quietly expand to meet whatever you make. This is the rat race. Not the job itself, not even the boss you can't stand. It's the system, the invisible treadmill that keeps you running faster every year, but never actually moving forward. And here's the brutal part. Nobody put you on it by force. You walked on voluntarily, because everyone else was on it too, and it felt like the right thing to do. But you're watching this video, which means something shifted. Let me ask you something, and I want you to actually think about this, not just keep scrolling. If your job disappeared tomorrow, how long could you survive? Not comfortably, just survive. For most people, the honest answer is somewhere between 3 weeks and 3 months, maybe 6 if you're disciplined. And that number, that gap between where you are and where you need to be, that's the actual problem we're solving today. Not motivation, not mindset, not a vision board, a number and a plan. The escape from the rat race isn't dramatic. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does follow a specific sequence. And most people skip the first 2 steps, which is exactly why they never get out. Here's the sequence. Think of escaping the rat race in 3 stages. Stage 1, stop the bleeding. Stage 2, build the bridge. Stage 3, cross it. Most financial advice jumps straight to stage 3, invest in index funds, bro, without addressing the fact that you can't invest what you don't have. Therefore, we start at stage 1. Stage 1, stop the bleeding. The average American spends 97 cents of every dollar they earn. According to Federal Reserve data from 2023, the personal savings rate has frequently dipped below 5% in recent years, meaning the vast majority of income is consumed immediately. Read that again. That means for most people, a raise doesn't create wealth. It just creates a slightly more expensive lifestyle. This is called the Diderot effect, and it's one of the most destructive forces working against you. French philosopher Denis Diderot once received a gift, a beautiful scarlet robe, but suddenly everything else in his home looked cheap next to it. So he replaced his chair, then his desk, then the art on his walls. One gift, spiral of spending. Sound familiar? Think about the last time you got a raise, or a bonus, or a tax return. Where did it go? The first move, before investing, before side hustles, before any of the exciting stuff, is to widen the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Not by suffering, not by cutting every coffee and joy from your life, by being surgical. There are 3 expenses silently draining most people: housing, transportation, and subscriptions they haven't looked at in 6 months. Audit those 3 things. Just those 3. That's your homework from stage 1. Stage 2, build the bridge. Here's a concept that changed how I think about money. Every dollar you save is a worker you just hired. At a 10% annual return, which is the historical long-term average of the S&P 500, $10,000 today grows to approximately $67,000 in 20 years. A dollar sitting in a savings account earning 0.01% interest isn't a worker. It's unemployed. It's actually losing value to inflation every single day. But a dollar deployed intelligently into an index fund, a cash-flowing asset, a business, that dollar starts working. And unlike you, it doesn't sleep. It doesn't take sick days. It doesn't ask for a raise. So stage 2 is about building what I call your financial bridge, which has 2 lanes. Lane 1, invest automatically before you can spend it. This is the single highest leverage habit in personal finance. Before your paycheck hits your checking account, a percentage, even if it's just 10%, goes somewhere it can compound. Set it up once, forget it. Let it build. Lane 2, create a second income stream. Not a second job, a second stream. There's a difference. A second job trades more of your time. A second stream, at minimum, starts building something that can eventually run without you, or at least run alongside you without burning you out. This could be a small service business, a digital product, dividends from investments, the boring businesses we broke down in our last video. The bridge doesn't get built overnight, but every month you don't start is a month of compounding you'll never get back. Stage 3, cross it. This is where most YouTube videos live, but it means nothing without stages 1 and 2 underneath it. Crossing the bridge means reaching what's called your financial independence number. Here's how you calculate it, and I want you to actually do this. Take your annual expenses, multiply by 25. That's your number. If you spend $40,000 a year, your number is $1 million. If you spend $60,000, your number is $1.5 million. Why 25? Because of the 4% rule, a principle backed by research like the Trinity study showing that a portfolio of 50 to 75% stocks can sustain a 4% annual withdrawal for 30 years or more. When your investments generate enough to cover your expenses, you're out. Not retired necessarily, just free. Free to work because you want to, not because you have to. That's the crossing. Okay, I have to be real with you for a second, because everything I just told you is true. The math works. The framework is solid. But here's what I didn't say. I know what it feels like to look at that financial independence number, let's say $1 million, and feel like it might as well be on the moon. When I was starting out, I wasn't some finance prodigy with a trust fund and a head start. I was running a small business with tight margins, watching every dollar, and wondering if the compounding thing was real or just something rich people said to feel good about themselves. And the hardest part wasn't the math. It was the waiting. It was watching friends spend freely, vacations, cars, dinners, while I was being disciplined and boring and quiet about it, and asking myself constantly, is this actually going to work? Or am I just delaying my life for a number I'll never hit? That doubt is the real enemy. Not your income, not the market, not your employer. The voice that says you started too late, that it's too complicated, that people like you don't actually escape. That voice is lying. But I won't pretend it's easy to ignore. Here's the reframe. The rat race isn't about money. Not really. It's about options. The rat race is what happens when you have no options, when you have to show up, when you can't say no, when your body is trading hours for dollars because there's no other system working in the background. The escape isn't about getting rich enough to never work again. It's about building enough of a foundation that work becomes a choice. That shift from have to want to, that's the actual finish line. And once you see it that way, the path stops feeling like sacrifice. It starts feeling like construction. Every dollar you don't spend thoughtlessly is a brick. Every automatic investment is a brick. Every income stream, every audit, every boring disciplined decision, bricks. You're not missing out. You're building something. So let me leave you with the 3 moves. In order, non-negotiable. 1, audit the 3 big expenses: housing, transportation, subscriptions. Cut what doesn't serve you. Widen the gap. 2, automate your investing. Even 10%, even $50 a month. The habit matters more than the amount right now. 3, start one income stream that isn't your job. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be impressive, just has to exist. That's it. No hack, no shortcut, no secret the banks don't want you to know. Just a system executed consistently over time. The rat race doesn't end with a dramatic exit. It ends quietly, one boring, disciplined decision at a time, until one day you realize the treadmill stopped and you're just walking.